A couple of months ago, I took a run down a few roads at the end of Colonial Parkway. It turns out they are part of a special route for history buffs that bypass the traffic of regular commuters. I had no idea where each one would lead or which options would become available as I move forward. But deeper into the run and into the forest, it was stunning. Clear, winding paths beneath the canopy of trees, deer crossing out only a few feet in front of me. All things the parkway is loved for. A few miles in, I came around one curve to find the road splitting a body of water. A breathtaking pond on the left and a little leftover marsh on the right. You can imagine my surprise also coming upon two young men, foreigners, stripped down to their skivvies, hurriedly trying to make the plunge before getting caught. They soon discovered it was too late. They'd been busted. We laughed. I offered to take their picture. We waved goodbye. Rounding the curve, I came to this dam. It stopped me in my tracks and still stops me. If you're not a spiritual person, making connections with things around you can seem a little sketchy, flighty, or even over the top. Don't worry. I'm not getting ready to say anything too startling here, but there was a time that I refused to live my life by signs. I closed my eyes and refused to look because I wanted to be more rational, more grounded, I suppose. At some point, I began to wonder what things I might be missing from God, though, altogether, or what senses I wasn't using or experiencing fully. Then I inched my way deeper, a little more and a little more over time. Somehow, that little crack of possibility caused the universe to open, ever so slowly. Eventually, I started writing things down. In the last few years, things have happened that I would have never chosen or believed were even possible. Some of the most radical signs I have ever experienced happened at big crossroads and junctions. Ones where I was forced to consider roads other than the one that I was traveling. And though I was not looking for signs, little mysteries appeared all around me as if something I was only on the brink of discovering internally somehow morphed into physical form to confirm and point the way. Things I couldn't have created if I wanted to and still can't explain, aside from the fact that there is so much more to life than what we see. But sometimes the messengers are more subtle and easy to overlook, like this dam. I have carried this picture and tried to write poems about it to no avail. Days or weeks later, another line comes, as poems often do. It has so much significance and potential. I imagine pond water with its creatures and slimy accumulations. I think about how still the water must be, pressed heavily against the dam wall or hinge of flow. That must be what spiritual congestion is like. When we stop letting life run through us or filtering it, the stagnation of no longer being stirred or moved because we are too focused on being in control or settling things. I think about the water crashing and being flooded by things that release. Once opened, it all comes out messily, forcefully, and beautifully chaotically. Lines later, a new angle might be that sometimes people sink beneath that heavy when things are too slippery to climb, too deep to rise, sinking to the bottom. I feel the bubbles roll across my nose and then float upward. I hear the popping sounds of being completely submersed that sound vaguely like concrete cracking. Finally, touching the rock bottom and no air is left to hold on. Yet in the exact same description of drowning, the sinking and the pressure, another finds birth. Crowning happens by seeping or pressing into the deepest parts. There is a certain powerlessness and force to the seasons of life and timing. In other lines, I imagine how each of us hold a wheel and have more power to control the flow than we realize. In this dam, there is a spillway to divert the water from the road when the pond is too full. Strangely, as 2020 draws to a close, I find comfort in imagining how peaceful it is, empty. Simply resting in that space of four dry, cool walls, between the place of aching fullness, another side I have not been on yet, and the flow between them. One day I will be full again, but of a different kind. One that comes with having less to manage, but a more concentrated source, not leftover or extra, but reserved. For now, all of the draining has stopped. I can feel my lungs. Breathing is different here. I am not hiding or resisting, but securely tucked away, though 1,000 things are happening all around me. There is space and stillness. It may simply be the stimulation of things outside of my routine, but ironically, it is leaving the day-to-day to entertain these kinds of whims like the run, the new path, the poem, and the meditation that often ground me. Many times they speak in just as mysterious and even prophetic ways. I certainly don't wake up these days staring out the window waiting for everything to be a sign, nor am I as disciplined as I'd like to be about making the most of every opportunity. Many things don't even happen every day or week or even month, but there is a practice that is developing. It involves noticing when something gets my attention or calls. And like the swimmers, stealing the opportunity to make the plunge regardless of all the reasons why I shouldn't. Letting curiosity and my appreciation for it lead me in. Carrying these things and then listening for what they have to say. Tell me, what do you see? And are you listening?